Alright guys, welcome back. So I took the locust yesterday and I got second place. I wanted to test a theory of like not playing hand traps and just basically having that significant 6th or 5th card be something like impactful other than just like trading 1-for-1, because like sometimes trading 1-for-1 with this deck doesn't really work out because it's kind of hard to anticipate and get the right thing, because sometimes they can just push through and end on their established board anyways, and that's just not good. Every possible resources at our disposal to be unhindered, and like you'll see what I mean. So basically the same thing, same ratio, triple Stardust Synchron and a triple Junk Synchron. This is just standard. It should not change. The best level 2s, right? The deck has triple Double Warrior, triple Gem Converter. Just consistency, and then it allows you to like extend with the tokens, which is nice. Like having these two in rotation is really nice because you have so much access to this little guy that if this gets ashed or negated somehow, it's fine. You just find your way, like just easy accessible, and then you can just like go summon the junk. They stop the junk. Okay, tribute the junk. Special this trigger doppel, which is one of like the best contingency plans you have, which is really nice. Just consistency. And then of course you have like the extenders that pair well with your synchrons, triple Caligo, triple Joseph Confy. I know in the recent builds, the ones that did fairly well at their YCS and at their nationals, which is how is and Max, and of course Emanuele, the one he got featured, which is pretty cool. They weren't playing this guy. They preferred Carrier, but I value these two so much. Like, you want to open this? It's the same logic with if this gets negated, right? If you don't have this play, the one I just mentioned, you can just special this from hand. Because sometimes like they don't want you to revive your Junk Converter or your Doppel Warrior, so they just prematurely interact with him, even though they know, okay, I have to stop speeder, but like in the heat of the moment, they're like, okay, I just stop this and it's over, and then that's where this guy comes up. It's just so good. Same thing for this one. Like, you can summon this, right? Assuming this resolves, you discard this, pitch this, and they stop this, and you don't have this, or you don't have the doppel. This just gives you another line of play where you can go ahead, tribute this, special this, and then it inherently essentially becomes this for this guy. And it's really nice. And like the fact that you can go like normal summon this, search elimination, special this, they stop speeder, and you have doppel in hand. You can tribute the speeder, trigger trail, right, and then special doppel, and then do the Excel climb, which is quite nice. And like top decking this off of TG draws comes up as well, because sometimes you're missing the doppel and you need that level 1 to be able to like finish off your sequence. Then of course you have one of the best extenders the deck has, which is so good. It's Dawnwalker. Dawnwalker just helps set up the grave. It gives you like this cool little thing where you have these two on the field, and you can like freestyle your way with like this, like special this, make a herald or something, or make like little things like that, and then like summon this, make like a TG, revive that, trigger doppel, assuming you want to just do that line, or just go Baron, and then this will rip one of the ants, trigger doppel, and then you have XL climb. Like it forces them on more than one hand trap, which is quite cool. Or you can just go into Chaos Ruler. Then your Mare. This card's insane. It just helps the post Nibiru play out so much. And then going second as well, like this and the Jesters is quite nice. Like being able to go special this, because you play Shrine, so you have more access to Destrudos, because you Shrine, Foolish, and this itself. That's like essentially 3 Destrudos, so that play always comes up. And then of course you have your Trail, which pairs well with Shrine as well. Send it, Jet Synchron. And I was playing double of the little guys yesterday as well, because I really wanted to like test it and keep testing it, because like at worst I was noticing that I was drawing like these little guys, the Caligos and this one, and as weird as it sounds, like I needed more tuners, and then I was like, oh, I might as well just play this, because this pairs well with either or, right? Because this can be either a Marcher play or Shaman play, or this can be a Speeder play or a Marcher play. Like it just seemed to work really well. And having the protection in the EMZ does come up still. Like it's just insane. And then of course you have your spells, triple tuning. This has like been going back and forth whether to play it or not, because we already have so much. But like just the simple fact that this like prompts a response, because they're like thinking like, okay, well it adds one and it mills one, that's great setup. Like they're kind of like intimidated by the fact of what it can be and what it can turn into, so they just interact with it and it's like, oh, okay, oh yeah. But nonetheless, it just like it allows you to have consistency, right? So like instead of hard opening a either or, this lets you, like let's say you open up with Yugioh, then you can search junk, right? Or if you open up with Jester, then you can search Stardust Synchron. It just versatility in a sense that that does come up. And then of course one of the best extenders or starters is Synchro Overtake. Just an amazing card, paired well with Jester, Yugioh, Junk Converter, and Junk Synchron, which is so cool. Like you can start your play with special this, special Jester, go to Herald, and then pop off after that, which is pretty cool. It's good. It's just like it's good though because it's a primary or secondary, or you like mid combo, or helps you finish off that last crystal wing that you need with your TG, which is quite nice. And then this is what I was trying out, main deck Dark Ruler, because every single deck right now that like builds a board or needs something like oppressive as like the help combo with the scythe block, they like you kind of have, they can't really do it during the main phase unless it sends at the graveyard. So then you just Dark Ruler them, right? And then it just helps with that issue altogether. And like something you can do as well is like just go ruler into a Despia board and just have your like your droplets be like the post red interaction, like with a nuke with the Chimera, and then have another Mirror Jade banish. And it's good against Flunder. It's so good against Flunder. You just activate this, and then you kind of have to play around just either the Mega Monarch or the Avion, which is not that hard to do. I just really liked it because like if you top deck it, if you open this, like let's say compared to a hand trap, this is what I meant by it being a bit mediocre. Because like if you open up a hand trap, yeah, it can potentially stop them, but it's not guaranteed. Whereas this is like guaranteed to just deal with the aftermath of what they're intending to do, which is be oppressive with their establishment. So then you just go, okay, activate this, negate everything. You know, of course, there's some arguments of like preventing is better because it doesn't let them generate any resources and like setup, but like it's like hit or miss. I know both variants work. It's a matter of preference, and I just felt really comfortable with this one. And this over droplets because you don't want to deplete your hand that much. I'm siding the droplets. Then of course you have your one-ofs, the powerful one-ofs. So you have Rhoda, False Burial, like False Burial. Shrine, this is just formal copies of Destrudo because Destrudo is insane. It just helps you trigger double, and it just gives you another line of play apart from just having the engine. Illumination, just search Centrail. Reborn, and of course Called by the Grave, Midbreaker, Dusters, and of course Red Reboots. I chose to main deck these two because once again it's just dealing with the deck's weakness. Like you can't really play through back row unless you open up access to Yawzy, but even then like floodgates suck. And Deep Barrier, oh my god. So I left the fight, I was freaking Nathan, he was main decking Barrier, and I was like, oh my god. I mean, that'd be pretty funny, but I drew this to answer this Barrier, but I just didn't in game one I lost. Because like one I was like, oh, I got this, because he had just the Mirror J set up and one back row and 3 cards in hand. I was like, oh, it's over, because I could just Dark Ruler, and then I called by for the red, and then it's over. But then he goes to activate every Deep Barrier. I was like, oh my god, so bad. And yeah, I ended up losing that. It was okay. It's fair enough. And then Midbreaker, just to deal with like Chimera pop, it makes it a little bit easier instead of having to like deal with Mirror Jade and Chimera. And then it just deals with Effect Veiler and Impermanence, which is what I really liked. So like any version of like these two, you should be okay, because like you don't really lose to Ash, so you don't really mind that one. It's just mainly Imperm Veiler, because you can't really chain block that, because they just go Veiler on your speeder, and you're like, okay, well, chain block was kind of irrelevant if speeder got negated. And then we have our side deck, triple droplet just for when you go second, triple twisters, because I just wanted to have like that set that answer post game one, just be able to just, okay, like you just twisters the back row of Despia, they have everything on board. You just either droplet or you Dark Ruler and you can play around like an Ash. And if they do have Nibiru, then you can play around Nibiru because you're gonna be chain blocking the speeder, so most likely you're gonna have access to illumination, and you have the post Nibiru play, which is quite relevant. And just against backrow decks, just really good. Same thing with the Cosmic. This is for the Scythe lock. Like you just like activate your Dark Ruler and just hit the Scythe, or like just hit backrow, just generically, just be able to like force the red out. Then Dark Ruler, it's essentially the same thing. And once again, just because you just don't want to lose any backrow decks, you just it disrupts their establishment. It makes them play a bit weirdly. Then of course you have evenly matched with paired with this and Dark Ruler is just insane, just so good. And then like the only going first card that you actually have apart from this, depending on the matchup, is anti-spell, because sometimes like the issue was playing this to out Mystic Mind, because like they just like they'll waste and make you interact at the like forcefully, like you don't really want to negate stuff, but you kind of force to negate stuff, so then they burn all your negates and then they go Mystic Mind at the end. And you do have an out to it, you have the Dusters, but like you just rather avoid that situation and just flip this. And then because like in top 4 it's Brian, yeah, he had no interactions, and let me just play on. And he had evenly Dark Ruler, but I had 3 of these. I drew to 3 of these, like there's no way I'm losing. I had a full board, it was crazy. It was really, really cool. But yeah, it's just more so the fact that like just deal with the back row, and then you deal with like this covers everything. It's very generic. Like you don't really want to be trading 1-for-1 with hand traps. Like it does work, it can work, but it's like I want to test this theory. And we have the extra deck. Okay, this is the tokens, which is so cool. If you want any of these made, the link is in the description. You can get almost any rarity. Like you can get this guy like in a prismatic rare, which is really nice. But yeah, use my promo code and get 10% off, which is pretty cool. So once again, thank you Harrison, lending it. Oh, he's in Melbourne, just beating people up in logos. Hot Red, Chaos Ruler, Crystal Wing, Cypher Lord, Omega, Yazi, these are amazing. Stardust Charge, TG, Junk Warrior, Junk Speed on the MVP, Excel Synchron, and then of course the little guys, which is so cool. Let you climb, Herald, Cupid Pitch, Metal Marcher, and Shaman. This card's amazing. It was 5 rounds of Swiss, then top cut. I lost round 1 in Swiss to Sky Striker. Yeah, it was Sky Striker. It was really weak. Game 1, I did like a suboptimal setup, and he ended up getting mine and started like I ended up losing that one because there's no way. And then game 2, I'm not sure, but I lost that one. It was just unfortunate. And then the last round of Swiss, I drew. It was a draw versus Dragon Link versus Dennis. Yeah, it was like a situation where like game 1 was like took like a long time, and then game 2, I think he lost, and then game 3, I can't remember what it was. No, we were in game 2 and we drew in game 2. Yeah, that's what it was. But yeah, I had to burn the cube pitch. I didn't really want to. I didn't want to win like that because like there was like that's why I had to easily I had an option to make a 4 and I made this instead. When I could have easily just made this guy and it's gone for the burn, but then the timer just left me no choice. That I just had to do the cubed pitch to get an end result. And there's a game versus Aaron. He was playing at Ignisters. He had the full board set up with like a 6K rival, Niv, Ash, and Droplet, and I ended up breaking that board. It was insane. So I ended up going like, what did I end up doing? I went, I forced the back row with Yazi pop, and I can't remember. I don't know, but I ended up forcing the droplet. He ended up ashing, I think my Yazi, the effective flow, and then I ended up going. No, I don't think he did that. No, he didn't, because he nibbed me. I remember he ended up nibbing. No, I can't remember what it was. But I ended up playing back through it. It was insane. I ended up having to use Crystal Weave's effect, using the effect, negating, getting the attack, making him 6K, then bringing this guy back, attacking to the nib, then crashing with this guy, and he was top decking because he had no cards left in hand. He was top decking, and then I went crash, attack, and yeah, And it was crazy. And then he ended up scooping because he just kept top decking to like hand traps and stuff. And yeah, it was just too much. But that's gonna be hopefully into the video. I gotta do another video explaining how to side deck because it varies from time to time. Like it does vary depending on your matchup. But yeah, that's gonna be hopefully into the video. Like, subscribe if you haven't, and thanks for watching.